unfortunately, I have to give you a little bit of an introduction on this video. I know people like me to jump right in and tell you, show you what I'm doing. So I've been reluctant to talk about this aspect of the lawnmower repair hobby that I've been doing. I had a troll tell me one time, and this sums up trolls just perfectly, that I should not do things until I've learned how to do them. Well, how do you learn how to do them if you don't do things? My grandmother used to always say that if you think about something long enough and you work at something hard enough and you dream about, it was a big long thing, you will eventually accomplish it. So one of the things that I'm going to have to do living here off grid, this is the challenge, living off grid and doing the lawnmower repair hobby, is weld. I'm going to have to start welding. There's just things that are going to be needed to weld. Well, I live off grid, so I don't have the ability to run a welder. Well, I decided to do some research the other day. Now, first of all, I've only welded like twice in my life. My dad had a welder, a little stick, well, it was a huge stick welder, actually, huge Lincoln welder. And he had a dump truck, and he let me weld up the back of the bed one time. I learned a lot. But I've just never gotten into it because I didn't have the electricity. The old house I used to have, it was lucky that it never burned down. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do some welding. Did I need to find a welder around here? Something. So I got on Amazon and I started looking for welders. And this thing, look at it. It's a toy. It's a little smaller than a toaster. And it's 140 amps. Now, like I said, I'm not any kind of expert welder, really don't know what the heck I'm talking about. What I do know is I can lay a bead and I can get metal to stick together occasionally. I've done that before. So I thought, I'm gonna buy this. It was $47. And I figured, I go to Dollar General and I spend $47 without even trying. So why not get something like this and just see if it works? It had a good review on it. Now, there was a bigger one that had better reviews. It had a lot of reviews, I should say. This one had one review. Now, there's been 100 sold in the last month. So if there's an idiot out there, there's at least 100 of us in the last month. So I practiced with it. And I just took an old lawnmower blade and I started running beads. I'm telling you, that it was amazing. It did an amazing job. I had to run it off my generator. The solar panels won't, the inverter's too small. The Champion inverter generator is 2,500 watts. Now, I tried to run it on propane, and propane wouldn't pull it. You don't get as much power on your generator with propane. Well, I don't think you can get as much power with propane as you can gasoline on any engine. So I think it's like, I don't know, 1,700 watts you get out of it versus, it doesn't matter. But I put some gasoline in the generator. Well, let me back up a little. It did weld on propane. The generator just struggled immensely. So I kept having to lift up on the stick to make it work. Then I put it on the generator and I could run a longer bead without the generator wanting to die on me. I'm actually going to work on a project today and use this and see if we can get anything out of it. I got a bracket that's broke. It's a small bracket. This can handle a piece of metal 5 millimeters in thickness, and I have no idea. I'm an American. What was 5 millimeters? So I took a socket, that 5 millimeter socket I have, and I put it up against the piece of metal just to make sure that it wasn't 5 millimeters, and it was half the size of the socket. So it tells me I'm probably at 2.5 millimeters of metal. So I'm gonna give this a try. We'll see how it works. This must be the fanciest helmet I've ever seen. It dims automatically. It's got a little adjustments in there that you can dim, set the adjustments, and as soon as the stick strikes, this thing darkens up. The rest of the time I can see perfectly fine. It's incredible. It's neat. It runs on solar. So we're gonna sand this off, grind this off a little bit, clean it up, and we're gonna start welding it. Okay, so here's the bracket that is broken. I apologize for the generator. That's just the only way we're gonna get to work. So you can see that it's broken broken this spot here. And so I'm gonna clean that up with a grinder, we're going to try to reattach that. The backside here goes up against the lawnmower, so I'll demonstrate. So this kind of goes up against the lawnmower underneath. So when I weld the backside, I'm going to have to grind that off. Okay, I've put a piece of aluminum foil, well not foil, aluminum from a can that I found in the ditch, and that way I can screw this part down onto the board, and maybe the aluminum will deflect enough heat that it will keep it from burning the board so bad. I know it's going to burn the board some, but maybe we can prevent some of the the big flames. See if we can get these screws to work. Yeah, that worked good. I was going to cut a notch in that, but the gap in it is pretty big, so I don't know if I need to. I will on the other side, but this side I think I'm going to leave as is. Okay, so I filed this down a little bit, sanded, ground that down a little bit, so I can put my negative wire on that. That way it has good conductivity. Okay, I'm going to cut a little valley into that break. That way it can hold more weld. Okay, so this is the back side, so I'm going to have to grind this down flat. Well, I think I got it. I'm pretty proud of it. There's one little gape right there, but I don't even think that's on the crack itself. And on the other side, it was hard to grind, but I don't see any gaping there. So, and this is not going to be requiring a lot of structural strength unless you run sideways into a stump or something. That's what I think happens with somebody brushed up against a stump with their lawnmower and it knocked it over to the side. So if you don't want to learn how to do anything, don't try. If you want to learn how to try something, try. I'm pretty proud of it. First try. So if you'll click the up next box to take you to a video where it's working on something, so if I can inspire you to give it a try, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.